Hello again, and we're back. The end of October for me, and not too much to report on new things. Haven't done much in the way of hobby. Still trying to get the colours on Seamus's crew, but just haven't had the chance to sit down and paint. As for games this month, I've only played 2, which have been good. A chance to just test some things out and put some models on the board before I switch factions again. And I think there's a lot to the new scheme branching trees, but starting to get that thinking ahead mentality, not just what's taking a slightly less optimal scheme this turn to choose a better scheme next turn. But not planning my whole branch ahead, I don't know. I mean, that's a lot of brain power you're throwing at that. And I doubt we're going to get to that stage, especially this year. Probably not even by the end of next year, unless I just... Maybe there's a crew where, well, if this scheme's in your starting pool, you know you can run through these 4 schemes pretty reliably. But again, I think that's problems for next year when we're learning the next set of keywords. So the other thing I was going to bring up this month was start talking about my colour schemes and painting on the 4 keywords I cooked this year. So starting off here with Transmortus. Now, obviously, I got my hands on the It Lives box. I'm sort of 50-50 on the style compared to the normal ones. I do kind of like the mecha zombie thing, but I've also got that in McMorning, so it's not a huge loss having it here. The real problem with it is that it only has the 1 box, and they were never released a second box with the students, and I don't particularly care for the idea of painting the students monochrome like I did with the It Lives crew. On which this skin came out a lot bluer than I intended. I intended it to be sort of a more true the grayscale, but the shader I bought for the skins turned out to come a bit more bluish, but it actually oddly really works with the Frankenstein nature of them. That said, painting grayscale now with contrast paints is easier than I expected. Kind of feels like cheating. I was also quite happy with these simple bases came out. They're just a texture sheet from a model train shop with some hole punches, and it's super simple. It's easier. They actually have just that little bit of texture that makes them look not like a just printed piece of paper. So I don't know if that's coming across in the video, but it is what it is. So the rest of the crew, we're painting somewhat classically in your I suppose mecha zombie style. I did end up going back and redoing a lot of the bases, adding piping and other random little gidgy gadgets the students are obviously working on in their classes. But also, given I haven't played this crew in 4th, and I don't know if I will, they look good. There's just so much to learn. And I'm taking a lot of chances to play McMorning, because I think he really suffered in 3rd with Condition Masters being so easily countered. Where I got a lot of games in with Transmortus and a lot of good games, so I'm not too disappointed if I don't play him again before the end of the year. So I don't know if I'll finish off the rest of the crew, but I was really happy with the grayscale bulk of it. The other crew I brought out to have a look at, one of my only ones that I mean, I would consider it fully painted. I do still have a few extra in Slave Spirits, but they came in 2 flavors. So we have some that were done up in the crew colors, and then I had some I was doing more neutral to use as versatiles, but given they're not versatiles anymore, what do? The same problem I had with, obviously I have the translucent box, and originally I was using these a lot for my summons, but given these guys don't even exist anymore, and you summon stations so readily and commonly, I kind of just need to use them all. At least they're good now. After Enslaved Spirits came out, I don't know why you would have taken them in 3rd. But overall, the theme of the crew being the white with a sort of limeish green. It's not true lime, but I don't know sort of how else to describe the colour. And I'm quite fond of how the Karais came out with the pink flowering pattern on the kimono. A quite simple little bit of handwork. Really, it's just some slashes and some dots. But especially from a table distance, really helps. And on the court, we did just some brown lines with some pink dots, gives you that cherry blossom feel. And the change in the dominant and the highlight color really makes them contrast each other really nicely, even though they're never actually on the board with each other. On the note, I actually only used the one Ikirio. I still would like to do some pattern on her over the white, but I haven't really found a design that works that I am capable of painting. I would really be curious to see the redesign, assuming there's going to be at least 1 new sculpt, probably 2 for her new boxes, which I haven't seen yet, but we probably won't. Well, I mean, even if they do come out before I switch factions, I probably won't be picking them up. But on that, Karai herself is the only one who really shows with the pink, obviously with her soul sharing a bit there. So we just use brown as an accent color for other members of the keyword. As for the bases, I originally had these on a classical green bamboo with the yellow sand. But the extra green just really was a bit too much, in my opinion. So I ended up redoing them in these light brown bamboo color, and the grey sand I really think gives it a much more somber tone for the much more somber emotional feel of the crew, which I'm really fond of. About the only things I don't like is the Gwisin. And their poses are different, so you do know sort of which one's which. But like, which one do you call which? I really want to go back and print, say, a little lantern or a little shrine and put that on one of their bases and make that the differentiating feature. You should be a blank base shrine stump. This one as well was originally meant to be my versatile one for using in other crews. Again, not really an issue now. So I would probably like to do some shrines or something on the log to really blend her back in with the whole base of the crew. Especially given the company that made these bases doesn't anymore. So I'm going to have to source an alternative Zen Garden base when this crew does eventually expand. But and the Gwisin also, they're a bit hard. There's nowhere really to fit in the green and the white on them. But I think with the pale skin and the bases, they do blend in with the whole crew pretty nicely. So I'm pretty happy with how the result that came out on them. But yeah, That's two of my crews as they stand, and a bit of my reasoning behind them. So I think that might be it. That's me, Captain Steel, signing out.